Overseas hostilities continue to escalate in the Middle East. The U.S. says 2 of its troops are dead and another is missing after Iranian attacks on a base in Jordan. They're the first American service members to be killed in the region since the early days of the war. Iran has been launching missiles and drones at U.S. allies and bases in the Gulf for the past week. It says it's retaliation for U.S. attacks on civilian infrastructure. Both sides have returned to fighting since the collapse of their ceasefire just over a week ago. Julia Wong has more.
The death of these 2 personnel happened in Friday in Jordan, and the service members were killed, the military says, in an Iranian attack. They also say that 1 other service member is missing and that 4 others were taken to hospital, but that they have since been released. As I mentioned earlier, those few details about the 2 who were killed, we're waiting for more specifics about them. The military says that they are notifying their next of kin. But for how this news is reverberating here in Washington on social media, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is honoring the service members who were killed, saying, "Godspeed, heroes. Their sacrifice only stiffens our resolve." So these latest deaths now bring the total number of personnel killed since the war began to 16, a reminder of just how deadly this conflict has been.
And Julia, this killing of these 2 U.S. service members comes at a really, bad point in negotiations as both sides are expanding the scope and intensity of the attacks. And certainly any kind of peace seems like a distant memory. Take us through the latest hostilities.
Yeah, that it seems like such a long time ago where there was a little bit of hope that maybe things could calm down. But attacks have been ramping up between the 2 countries for about a week now. And that ceasefire that had been declared between the U.S. and Iran has essentially fallen apart. These deaths happened as the U.S. held its 7th straight night of attacks against Iran, where it targeted military infrastructure and other sites. And Iran, in response, has been hitting U.S. allies in the Gulf. And it has suggested that if the U.S. does not back down, it will move into a new phase of war. A statement from Iran's supreme leader reads, "The continued violations of the Memorandum of Understanding has shown the signature of the President of the United States is utterly worthless and invalid." And that same statement goes on to say that the Americans should know that the beloved nation of Iran and the Resistance Front have unforgettable lessons in store for it. Now, some experts say with these latest deaths, they expect U.S. attacks in this region will ramp up even further.
This is the first time we've had American troops killed since March. That, in many ways, is a red line to the administration and to President Trump. So I would expect that not only are we going to conduct strikes tonight for pure military purposes, as we would have had this not happened, but I think there will also be a little more severe retribution attacks for the killing of American troops.
Now, Trump is facing low approval ratings, and as Americans digest this latest news about the 2 deaths, it remains to be seen how that might impact public opinion about Trump and this war in general.